I'll just ask you to take yourself off mute there real quick, Coach.
Good afternoon, guys.
All righty, let's start it out with Austin Ward from Letterman Row. Austin.
Hey, Al. We'll just dive right into this. You lose 4 seniors. That makes for a pretty big, challenging spring. And now we know that Dallas can't help. What is your unit looking like? How significant is this test for you over these 15 practices?
Well, to answer your first question, the unit is looking very, very strong. Their attitude's been great. The best thing we have is competition, and I think everybody is competing. And so when that happens, I think you get everybody's best. We still have to improve every day. We've 3 practices in, but you can see the growth every day. And our goal is at the end of the 15 practices, be better in every way, leading into the fall. So it's been a good thing. It's been a positive thing so far. So they've come out with a great attitude. It is a great challenge in a lot of ways, but in the same breath, this is the evolution of football, especially in college. And so, this is where why they come to Ohio State. This is what it's about. So next guy's up. Take advantage of your opportunity, believe in yourself, and compete. And every day, be able to identify the things that you need to improve on. And so that's been our message is, hey, we've got to be fully conscious every day, and we've got to be really hard on ourselves. We have to be focused on how we can improve, and over time we'll get better.
Thanks, Al.
Yep.
All righty, let's go next to Bill Landis from The Athletic. Bill.
Hey, Al, at any of your previous stops or any of your previous jobs, have you ever had a situation like this where you lose basically 4 starters and you have to replace all of them?
Off the top of my head, no. At some of the smaller schools I was at, we've had times where a lot of young guys have played at a school at a level of competition like this. Probably say no, but as part of you coach long enough, these things happen. And I can't tell you, I'm fortunate that the 4 guys that left did a great job of setting the example. And, when I first got here, those 4 guys, they grew, the past 2 years. There was an evolution there. So I think the young guys having the chance to witness that, being in a room with those guys and seeing how they developed and how they grew helps. And again, we don't really talk much about it. Our standard is our standard. And we've got to, that's, the next guy's up, and we've got to uphold that standard. So to answer you, Bill, I think it's a great question. I'm 36. I've been coaching 13 years now, not extremely long. This is probably one of the few times it's happened at this level, especially. So just roll and you coach, and it's a lot of fun in a lot of ways too. So.
All righty, let's go next to Brendan Gulick, Buckeyes Now on SI.
Hi, Al. Thanks for spending some time with us. Hey, I'm sure you're going to get asked about a number of the seniors, but I guess I'm more curious about Tommy Eichenberg. What do you really want to see from him this spring? What stands out? Why is he such a great fit in your unit?
Well, number one, he works so hard. Like so much of being great at anything starts with effort and passion. Tommy loves football. He loves it. He loves being at Ohio State. Tommy was a guy coming out of high school who was committed to Boston College. That's my alma mater. And so, and I say that just to bring up the point, highlight the fact that he wasn't a blue chip guy. And so he's always had a chip on his shoulder. He's always had things to prove, so to speak, that attitude. And that's what makes Tommy an elite player. That's what's going to make him an elite player. I won't give him that title yet, but I think he's trending that way. He's trending that direction because of that chip, that sense of purpose, that sense of drive. So what do I expect to see out of him this spring? Number one, leadership. He's got to lead. He's got to be a guy that leads by example and leads by communication. We talk about leadership in our room. You have to be seen, you have to be heard, and you have to be felt. And a lot of times they don't feel you until they first see you and hear you. And so for Tommy, that's what I expect to see. First thing, and second thing is become a technician. So much of what we ask our guys to do. Scheme's important, and you have to execute within the structure of the defense. But there's individual one-on-one matchups that technique has to show up. And so a lot of those skills are only harnessed through actual reps, like really playing. Like you look at this whole duration, this whole period, we've had a lot of time to develop our bodies and but we haven't had a ton of time to play football, and so, for these young guys, they didn't get spring ball, they didn't get summer preseason camp. And so it takes reps, it takes those experiences to really become more of a technician. So I expect Tommy through this whole spring, for example, to become better technically, fundamentally, from the ground up. And the last thing I'll say is he's hyper competitive. It shows up in the classroom. Like, he competes in the classroom, he competes in the practice field, he competes on the field. So I expect him to continue to go on that direction. So I love Tommy.
If I could ask
Okay,
one
let's,
more thing, can you just maybe explain why Ohio State is such a special, important place to you personally?
Well, special, the term special, it always starts off with the people. Like you could have a job on Mars, but if it's good people, I feel like that makes it a better job, a good job. And so I think the people here, number one, and not to say that places I've been in the past and have good people, but I really enjoy the people I work with. Starting with Ryan Day, obviously it's documented. Me and Ryan, I've known Ryan. Ryan is a very influential person to me professionally, and I've known him personally for years. So I'll start with him. He's a great leader. He is an elite person to mold yourself after because of the way his habits and the way he lives his life. So I'll start with that. But then you go to the defensive side, man. I mean, we got some great guys. Kerry Combs, unbelievable leader, great person. Larry Johnson. I mean, I can go on and on the offensive side. So I think that's why Ohio State's special, because the people that you have a chance to work with, and being honest about that. I mean, and they make you better. The people here make you better, because everything at a place like Ohio State is expected to be excellent. And so every day you wake up, you get in there, you're motivated to be your best, because that's the standard in every way. The second piece for me personally is home. I mean, hey, listen, Sunday I had a chance to, my mom, she came over, she drove 20 minutes instead of 12 hours. And she was able to see her grandkids, my kids, and they get to know her as Yaya, and they really get to know her as that. My father, he's over all the time. He shares his opinion all the time. He knows the players. He's around it. It's unique. My kids get a chance to see my parents, and my in-laws, the same difference. They're about an hour away. So, having a young family and being a professional, doing what you do at the highest level, which Ohio State is that, and having your family around, that makes it unique. And that's unique to me personally. I'm just speaking, for me personally. You asked the question. That's why Ohio State's special. For people and this is where I'm from.
All righty, let's go next to Bill Rabinowitz from the Dispatch. Bill.
Hi, Al. You kind of answered what I'm going to ask you in the last question, but I sense you would have preferred that the Tennessee thing been under the radar. It wasn't. That's just the way life is now. Why did you decide to stay? And how much did the fact that you wanted to work with a new group of linebackers, that you're excited about this new core of linebackers, play into your decision?
Yeah. So, to answer your first question, I was extremely disappointed and frustrated that, that was a private situation that was made public. And so that was very discouraging, man. I was, that's first time in that situation. That was obviously something that irritated me. And, but I moved on now, obviously we're here on the here and now, and we're rolling. So yeah, that's, I talked about the two reasons why Ohio State's special. I think, the work that I have the opportunity to work with the group of guys that we're working with, that I get a chance to work with, was a big part of it too, man. I mean, listen, these guys a lot of these guys are young, and haven't had a chance to prove themselves yet. And, we have a great relationship in the sense of I want to see them transition. I want to see them actualize their dreams. So that's a part of it too. We all love the coach. Like, coaches love to develop. That is, and that's why you're in college. Like, you love to see where a guy starts at point A and you love to see what it looks like to B, and then you love to see what it looks like at C. And that progression is why you're in college coaching. And so that's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity here and now. And I have, and I'm confident in what they can do. I'm confident in what it'll look like because I know their potential. And so, yeah, that's a part of it too, Bill, so that was a factor in why I'm still here.
And you mentioned that there is a standard here as coaches and as players. The previous linebackers set a very high standard. How confident are you? How much work did this new group have to do to reach that standard?
Yeah, well, first off, this standard goes well beyond. So my father was a Buckeye, he's a linebacker. So like, you want to talk like the standard of Ohio State linebackers in that position, man, this thing, it goes well far beyond years. And so I constantly make we talk about that all the time. We're aware of that. So like you may feel some nicks and bruises, you may feel a little tired, hey, the standard is the standard. So that's non-negotiable. And that's something that we have to we do our day-to-day business, something we think in the back of our mind. And the guys that are in the room now, they've worked really hard. They've taken advantage of their gaps in time to earn, that position, that standard, being a linebacker. But they have to continue to do it. It's a day-to-day thing. They got to do it tomorrow. Yesterday was our first day in pass. We saw some really good things, but we got to see better every day. It's a daily thing. So I think to answer your question, Bill, they do have work to do. They do have to continue to take advantage of the time that they have to get better and to uphold that standard. And and that would be what hopefully they would say to you if you would ask them that question as well. So.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah.
All right, we got a bunch of hands raised still, so let's just keep it to one question. Let's go to Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Hey, Al, I'm sure you're somebody who has aspirations to eventually be a defense coordinator, to eventually be a head coach. Just curious from your perspective in deciding to stay at Ohio State, how do you feel that can help you eventually reach those goals in your career?
Well, I think I think for me personally, it was the right move. And I feel like being at a place like Ohio State will put me in position to actualize that. So I think, so to answer your question, yeah, I do want to become a coordinator. I do want to be a head coach, but I'm at a place, I feel like timing is important. I feel like timing, I'm fortunate to have that, to be able to use that is a factor in the equation. Like I don't have to jump at anything. And I'm not saying Tennessee's that. I mean, it's a great place, a great program, great tradition. I just felt for me personally, it was the best decision for me right now, and to be where I'm at, man. And I feel confident that making that decision will put me in position when that time comes.
All right, let's go next to Dave Biddle, 247. Dave.
Thanks, Mike. Al, if you guys had a game today or tomorrow and Dallas was healthy, can you give us an idea what the depth chart would look like at linebacker?
I was waiting on that one. Yeah, so I love the way you presented that too. You kind of snuck that in the back door. To answer your question, so Dallas, I'm gonna answer your question, Dave. Dallas, he's been here since I've been here. He has been an unbelievable. I mean, he's been one of the leaders of the room. You look at the exit of those four guys. He's one of the leaders of the room. So I have a lot of confidence in Dallas. I wish he would have been able to participate as much as everybody, this spring, but he would definitely be in the mix. I mean, he would definitely be in the mix, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But I'm gonna tell you this, you put me in that situation. We got to play today, on March 25th. I mean, you guys could probably set the depth chart before I could, and we only had one day of pads. So, but the guys, man, they've been working hard, man. So I got a room full of guys who are eager to prove, and I guess that kind of answers your question.
Thank you.
All righty, we got about 3 more minutes left with Coach, so let's do 2 last questions. Let's go to Nathan Baird, Cleveland Duck.
So kind of piggybacking off of that, the last 2 years you've had 2 very kind of different guys in some ways at Sam between Pete and Barron. Just kind of curious what you see as sort of the future of that position. How are you trying to assess right now who the next guy is that goes for the skill set needed at that spot?
Well, that's a great question, Nathan. And if you think about our defense a year ago or 2 years ago, right? Think about that guy. That guy first year was Pete Warner. Right? So Pete was a guy that he had some coverage skill and was able to really impact the defense in that way. Then you got Barron, who was a really dynamic rusher this past year, So that position is, whatever skill set that guy has, you play to that. So that's one that you can kind of mold around the player. And so as things go in the spring, we'll have a better idea of that. So.
All righty, and final question for Coach. We'll go to Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
I'm good. I already had a question, so I'll pass to someone else.
All righty, we'll pass it off to Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Al, just for Dallas at all, how does him not being able to practice or be available for spring practice impact his development, or has he kind of been around long enough where you expect he'll be okay?
No, I don't think anybody's in that. Nobody's in that category. It's just nobody can be. Everybody. I don't care if you're the best of the best. You need reps. You need to participate. So it's not good that he's not able to. We'll put it in the good category. And I do think he could have benefited from having had these practices, just like he would have benefited from spring ball last year in preseason camp. So, I think, but in the same breath, there's still ways to get better. And he has, mentally and visualizing what you're doing and understanding what we're asking guys to do at a deeper level, leading. There's other things you can do to help. But yeah, I mean, you wish Dallas would have had an opportunity for sure. So. But I don't think it's damaging. I don't think it's like, it's just something that you have to overcome and you have to find a way despite that.
All righty, Coach. Thank you very much for your time.
Can I sneak in one thing about, Cody Simon and Mitchell Melton going into year 2?
Sure. Yep. Yeah. So you want me to, Cody Simon and Mitchell Melton, man, those are 2 young, just young studs, man. They handle themselves like pros. And again, you want to talk about being a freshman when you got, you come in the room, you see Tuck Borland sit down and open up his notebook. And he's got copious notes. And, you look at a guy like that and he's very serious, very focused about his work. They were impacted by that. They were impacted by Justin Hilliard's resolve. They were impacted by Pete Warner, his toughness, on a daily basis. They were impacted by Barron's willingness to step up and become more vocal and as a leader and his playmaking ability and his ability is really his selflessness. You think about Baron Browning, he was selfless because he played so many different positions. So Cody Simon and Mitchell Melton got schooled on what it looks like to be a linebacker here. And so they handle themselves the right way. They're very talented. I think everybody coming to Ohio State for the most part has a certain foundation of talent, but they're very talented. They're very bright, and they just need reps. They need those repetitions. They need to, they need to be coached. They need to be evaluated. They need to be pushed. Coach Marotti is the best in the business at that, in the weight room and on the field. Like, that's why I don't have a voice, because those guys need it. They need that callus. Because when it does callus over and it clicks, man, they're gonna be pretty doggone good, just like a lot of guys before them were.
Thanks, Al. Sorry, Mike.
All righty, Al. Thank you, Coach. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Take care.